Well, we have Modupe Akinsiun in the studio. You know, as humans, we, at some point or the other, have had to deal with rejection, whether it's from a loved one or a lover. There's that psychological basis of pain, as you know, rejection. Of course, research has shown that rejection, you know, gives you that psychological drawback and that you might feel temporarily.
There are, of course, different types of rejection. You know, the same pathways that are activated when you experience physical pain are actually activated with rejection. So joining us to talk about how best to deal with rejection is Modupe Akinsiun.
Now, she's a certified John Maxwell coach, trainer, and speaker. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you guys
It's Monday,
for
people want to get motivated.
Yes,
I know, even me.
You know, sometimes you're very, very motivated. You start your week.
Absolutely.
You know, you're coming from church on Sunday and you're like, yeah, you know, this is going to be a great
do
week.
this.
And then Monday, Tuesday, rejection here, rejection there. By Wednesday, you're like, what?
You've lost your steam.
So how do you deal with, if you're someone who's at home, you've been looking for a job, and it's been 3 months, it's been 6 months, it's been a year, sometimes even 2 years, and you keep applying and you keep getting rejection. After a while, it begins, no matter how happy or how motivated you are, it begins to take its toll. Where do you begin?
Okay, thank you so much for that question, Yomi. And I think we all know what rejection is, but just to, you know, put things in perspective, it simply means not being accepted for an opportunity. So like you said, you've applied for jobs, you've submitted proposals for different business opportunities, and then you get turned down. All right, so there are different things that can be responsible for that. Sometimes, you know, you submit your proposal. So there are two reasons basically for rejection. One can have to do with you, another one can be external, all right? That is a system generally coming up with a reason why they're not going to select, or maybe they even have a preference of what they're looking for, all right? And that is totally out of your control, all right? But what is within your control is how you respond to that situation, right? Somebody said something, he said, the outcome we experience in life is a combination of the events and our responses. And a lot of times things are not as bad as they seem, but it's how we respond to them that determine how bad those things will eventually turn out to be. So if you don't have control over events that happen to you, what you have control over is your response to those events, all right? So for someone who has had all the high at the beginning of the week and then one rejection after the other, first thing you need to do is to slow down, all right? You need to slow down and ask yourself, what exactly is the feedback? Because rejection is simply feedback. All right, rejection is feedback, and we need to establish that. But a lot of times people get to internalize issues. So you begin to think too deeply about it. Is there something wrong with me? Or maybe I'm not good enough, and that's where depression sets in. So you need to ask yourself, what feedback am I getting? And sometimes you may have the luxury of getting feedback from the people you have engaged with. So maybe you submitted a proposal to an organization and you got rejected. You need to find a way of finding out, okay, so what didn't I do right? Or what could I have done better? All right, so that's a way you get that feedback. And of course, if it's a job opportunity as well, you ensure you also get the feedback if you're able to. All right, but if you don't, then there comes a time where you need to talk to someone independently.
The fact that some people don't understand that even in the workplace, you know, when it comes to promotions and things like that, rejection is still something people have to deal with.
Absolutely, absolutely, because, you know, when you get to the workplace, after a while, there are certain expectations you have, like having, you know, getting promoted or just making some career progression, or maybe there are training opportunities or international exposures that are possible, and then you find out that you're just being passed over and over again. Now, it's either of two things. It's either your performance is not up to par, which you need to fix, or maybe it's a political situation, because sometimes it's true that bosses sometimes have preferences, systems have preferences and all that. And the question is, why are you not the preferred? Why are you not the one being considered? I mean, the others are human beings anyways, but you know, rather than sit back and complain, rather than sit down and internalize and just feel bad that you're not good enough, what you need to do is to begin to ask the right questions, you know. And you say that a lot of times people say, you know what, it's politics. I don't want to kiss ass. I don't want to suck up to anyone. But, you know, it gets to a point in your career where your job is no longer the job required of you, where the real job is now how to manage your stakeholders. Because as you rise higher, it's no longer a function of technical competence. It's your ability to engage effectively. So you get into your organization, you must ensure that your organization gets into you as well. Become one with the organization. Sometimes some people think, you know, I've spent quite a number of time here, I should be promoted. No, you don't get promoted because of time. You get promoted because of value-adding relationships and results you've brought into an organization. So if that is not happening, you need to ask yourself, am I really making an impact? All right? And if you think you're making an impact, because sometimes perception is reality. If people think you're not working, maybe you're not working. And work is not that you're doing activities. Work is that you're producing desired results. Right. All right? So sometimes, and I try to tell people from time to time as professionals, you need to ask yourself, am I making impact? How has my output impacted on a departmental objective or on an organizational objective, all right? So if people call it politics, then that's what it is. You need to learn how to play politics.
Yeah, because sometimes
it's
valid. People say, look, I'm just here to do my job.
I know.
And that's all. I'll do my job.
I've been doing my job consistently for the past 5 years. No promotion is not fair, and all of that. But they don't understand that there's this aspect of it, this aspect of connecting with the stakeholders within the organization.
In fact, that statement you made about I'm doing my job, it's not your job. It's the job the organization has assigned to you. Wow. And tomorrow, the organization can withdraw that job from you.
That assignment.
So, that assignment. So it's not my job, it's their job, and I'm serving. So I need to serve in a way that they receive value from me. I need to be able to make them see me as talent, as indispensable, if you get what I mean. Right. All right?
So the rejection angle then comes in when one is being given the realization that they're not putting their best foot forward. So I guess the next thing to do is take the bull by the horns and start doing the job the right way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
But, you know, rejection itself, let's go mental now. Let's go to the mentality of it. Some people might not even still get it. They might not even after you've told them that this is a result of feedback. This is the feedback they're giving you. The way they react to rejection. That's where I want to go now.
Absolutely. So let me give you an instance. I remember the time I started a career somewhere. I was new in the environment. I had an engineering background, and I needed to do some accounting tasks. And at some point, I remember my team lead telling me, "You're my grief on this job."
Wow.
Now, someone telling you or calling you a grief was enough to make you feel like you're so worthless and valueless.
Wow.
But you know what I did? I said to myself, if that is her impression of me, then I have the responsibility to correct that impression. Okay. And I then asked myself, I said, you know what? I said, I've decided I'm actually going to make you have a very positive experience. I didn't tell her that, but I reflected it through my actions. So I began to ask for feedback. Sometimes, a lot of times, people are afraid to handle feedback. You know, and that's why you see people, they can't handle the truth. So you tell them something, they feel bad, we shrink. We need to learn how to confront the truth. So when you feel rejected, you need to step back. Of course, you can be heartbroken, and that's the place where God comes in. I mean, you can pray about it, and that's absolutely good. But then the wisdom, moving from that place of prayer and thanking God you've received answers, is to seek counsel, sometimes outside or beyond you. So I tell people in your career, have a mentor. Oh, this was an experience I had at work. What do you think I can do? Because sometimes we're even clouded by our own emotions. You're not able to think objectively. But then when you have a third party who can help you analyze, sometimes you will be guided right. But then again, I tell, do not internalize it. Take it as part of the feedback that you need to work on.
Okay, so for those, we've heard of people losing, jobs, not getting a particular promotion, and then they go home to seek solace from probably a family member, a spouse, and those people then hammer it down that, oh my goodness, I can't believe you didn't get that promotion. the reaction of family members and people in your environment to that rejection as well. I feel like it has an impact.
It does have an impact because, again, you know, so when I talk about getting people, you need to have a good support system. So from time to time, seriously, human beings, we are not alone. We shouldn't be loners. We shouldn't be alone. We can't do this world all by ourselves. And we need to ensure we are surrounded. And if the support is not coming from your family, then you need to proactively engage in networking opportunities that will bring you in contact with the right people that can forge you ahead, all right? So when you see that you're not getting the right support, you need to seek support from the right places. And that's why...
That's really important.
Absolutely.
Because, but how should people react then to... so we're talking to family members now who are now dealing with somebody who's
been
maybe lost a job.
Who's been rejected.
Yeah.
You didn't get the visa. You know, there are many things.
There are different things.
Many things. So how do family members then react?
Then I think the first thing we need to realize is this person is already dealing with a lot. You don't need to rub it in. I mean, he or she has already lost the job or the business or the visa. Then what you don't need to rub it in. So why did you not do it? You don't need to go back into the why it did not happen in that sense at that time. What you need to do is to ensure that this person is even stable enough to be able to think correct, because a lot of times the solution is even with that person. A lot of times you even know what you do or what you can do, but you're not even then sure anymore. So we need to calm them down, let them realize, you know what, it's not the end of life, it's an event and it will pass. And you need to help them with the right responses, you know, direct them if you think you have someone who can talk, because sometimes too, we really don't take advice from family members, because sometimes your husband counsels you and you think, you know what, you've already gotten familiar, yeah? So sometimes a spouse can say, you know what, I think you need to see a counselor, I think you need to talk to someone, and that's where you see the support without rubbing it in, even if they think it was your fault. You don't need to rub it in.